Rob Kornman. I'm an artist now. Wasn't always. I worked in the business field for several years. I got sick 3 years ago. I blew up all the nerves on the left side, so I can't control the nerves. And now it causes me to have seizures. So I went back to art, because that's what I was trained in, art and business. My art has changed a lot to abstracts, just because that's how my head works now. It makes me happy to think of the world that way, and just to have that endless moving and depth in my life. And that's kind of how I see it. I have bright paintings. I live in a very bright world. My work, this one was done a while back. That one is about texture and feeling, being able to touch the canvas and feel the painting. My work graduates and mutates and distorts itself. I have some different pieces that are getting ready to come out. They're done over different textures. And then I also have some that my expertise, my thing in school was drawing. That was the big thing. I'm putting ink drawings, I'm sinking ink drawings into my paintings, because I just wanted to incorporate them somehow into the painting, and that's where I'm going with that line. My paintings, some of them mean different things. People see things in my paintings. I don't necessarily sign the front of my paintings anymore, because in my eyes, paintings are supposed to speak to the person. So if that means they need to turn that painting, or they see something in that painting, or it reminds them of something, they have the power to do that. I'm okay with it. My paintings are signed on the back. As long as they're happy with it, I'm okay. My paintings, most of them are all done on canvas. There's a few of them on boards. I try to stay away from boards because they make it so heavy, and it's hard for me to lift with one hand. So most of them are all stretched canvas. A lot of them have acrylic base paints. They're all sealed. Some of them have glass in them. Some of them have ceramics. A couple of them have other pieces of canvas in them. And this one here is, the textures are done through silicone. That way I don't waste all my paint. I experiment a lot. I play a lot. I try different objects, different things to get the texture. Some of it would crack and fall off the canvas. Silicone actually will adhere to the canvas and make a marriage to it where it won't hurt it, and it'll give with the canvas. And then I go back over it and treat it and paint it and put the textures in and the colors in that I want. I fuse glass. Some of my paintings have fused glass in them. Pieces of ceramic that I paint and glaze and drop in there. Some of my new ones have the ink drawings submerged in them. And then they're all sealed. They can be touched. And that's usually the biggest question is, can I touch the painting? And there's none of them that won't hurt any of them. They can touch them and things like that. So my disability affects me as an artist by it keeps me very limited. I have to, my paintings, if they get too heavy, or even putting up my tent, my booth at a show, things like that, it affects me that way. I very rarely do a show by myself. I usually always have babysitters. They don't like me to call them that, but that's what they are. And if they can't, then my friends make sure they come to my shows. I almost always have a babysitter, 99.9% of the time. But my paintings, if they're too awkward or too heavy, then somebody has to lift them for me. I do pull a trailer behind my truck, but even then, it's all has to be very well planned out. My tent has to be planned out. My tent was built for me to put up with the one hand. Even hanging the paintings, they all have to be ready. I have to hang them and then go get the painting and put the holes up. And as far as the artwork it goes, I get very limited because if I get tired, I'm done. If I have a seizure one day. If I have paintings planned the next day, it's over for me. There's no getting back there. My paintings are a world that I have in my head, and sometimes my disability kind of upsets that. It doesn't let me go the way I was thinking. Art fairs. They are a lot of work. They're a lot of fun, though. I have a blast doing them. First of all, my friends and I have this little saying that most of the time I have a grumpy one around me. And I'll tell them, when I get like that, it's time to pull my brushes away and I'm not going to do them anymore. Because if you're not going to enjoy them, there's no reason. Because you're going to go out there and you're going to sit in the 90-degree weather. And it's going to be hot or it's going to be cold. But the art fairs, you apply and you have to pay the entry fee. That's probably the hardest part. It's because you don't know whether you're going to get in there or not. And here you're paying a $25, a $30, $40 entry fee. And you're either going to get rejected or accepted. So that's the roughest part for me, is because I apply to so many, and I don't get in there all of them. Especially the bigger ones. It's hard to get in. When they're getting 1,100 applications and they only have 100 spaces to fill, it's hard to get in those. Art fairs in general, you apply, then if you're accepted, then you pay your booth fee, which can average. It can be anything. Some of your shows are $200, some of them are $700. It just depends on what caliber of show you're applying for. You can do cheaper shows. We have some really nice shows around here even that are only $100. Some of your shows, once you're in. So you can go ahead and pay your booth for next year. You're kind of locked in. Your more high caliber fine art shows are not that way. You get juried in every year. Sometimes you have to pay for electricity. I actually have a marine battery that my lights will run off my marine battery, so I don't have to pay that $75 for an extra battery and electricity and all that. My problem is I have to pay for a corner booth usually because I sell paintings and I don't sell prints, so I sell off of my walls. Where a photographer, say, they will sell a lot of prints. They won't sell. So their booth doesn't really matter. They can be sandwiched in between. I have to have as much wall space as I can get, so that ups my booth fee. Then you have to be there. You have to be in your booth. The people are wanting to make that connection with you, the artist. They're wanting to hear about the painting, about how you did it, about where it came from, how it got there. That's what they're wanting. And if they can make that connection, then you'll sell that painting. For me, I do okay. There are some shows that I don't do okay, but I have a lot of fun. I very rarely ever do an art show by myself. My mother helps me a lot because of my disability. I'm never left alone, usually. Or I do an art show with a friend. We'll pack up the truck and the trailer and go off to the show. And then you get, art shows it's a big community. You get to know everybody around you. You walk in and people start saying hi to you. They know you from the other ones you've done. It's the same people in the same circuit. Especially in this area, once you step outside of the 3 or 4 states, then you start picking up other people. And some of your shows are long days. Most of the shows will set up. I have one that sets up at 9 o'clock on Friday morning, and I don't leave until 11 o'clock Friday night. And it's the same way on Saturday. It opens at 10, and it's not over till 11 Saturday night. But you just have to you have to figure out if it's what you're wanting to do. For me, I have a lot of fun. It's very tiring, but after that, I figure I'm okay. Come Monday and Tuesday, I'll sleep and rest, and I won't do anything else. So I do okay with handling the shows, and not every show is that strenuous. A couple of the shows are Saturday and Sundays. You wheel in on Saturday, set up till 4, and you're done. So, but the biggest thing about the art shows is it's the people. You have to be able to connect to those people. You have to be able to talk to those people. And my advice, if you can't talk to the public, you need to go practice. You need to be able, because you're not going to sell your art by standing behind a wall or sitting behind a desk. That's not what they're wanting. They're wanting you. And I can talk to people very well. I've been in the public eye my whole life. So there's not a person that comes in my booth I don't say hi to, or I joke around with, or I show a kid how to paint. You have to be personable to those people. That's what it's all about. And if you're not, then you better take some speech classes, or go to the mall and talk to people, or go to an art show and talk to every booth. Do something to break that monotony, to get you out of that shell. That's the only way it's going to work. My work started in Crestwood, when Crestwood first kicked off, and then Chesterfield was doing the same kind of concept over here with Artropolis, this few stores that are here. RAC and Chesterfield Arts approached, and I came in here and opened this. In the beginning, it was a lot of commission-based sales. Now it's more the artists put their time in, or they help me pay the bills. Mindworks came about because artists need a place to be based. They need a place when they leave that show. That customer asks, well, where are you at? Where are you going to be after today at 5 o'clock? And this place gets them there. They can come up here versus going to your house. I don't like people in my studio. So they can come here and they can meet with an artist to design a painting or to design a piece of work for them. Just about any artist that's here has the room to work if they choose. Some of the artists don't because of what they're working on. Some of the metal artists, it's hard to break glass out there. Painters, most all of them paint. Most all the photographers will put their stuff in mats and put the pictures in sleeves. The jewelers will design their jewelry here. We constantly have a working atmosphere of artists, plus the people walking in like to see that. They get a kick out of that, seeing how that painting comes to life, or how the jewelry is done and designed on paper, and then go to the case and see it actually made. The artists that come in here to be juried in, we do have applications for artists. So anybody walking through the door at any time can pick up an application. Now, whether or not we have a space available is a whole other different thing. Sometimes, if the artist's work is different enough, we make a space. Other times, we know, no matter what, that we're full. Right now, we're holding 5 photographers. It's very difficult to bring in a 6th photographer. When we have a space, we have 3 empty walls available. In those walls, we're looking for a painter that's different. That's not whether they're good or bad. I'm not here to say whether an artist is good or bad. We look for difference in the paintings, in their art. We don't want every artist in the store competing after the same dollar. They all have to be a different technique, whether they're abstract or realism or whatever it is they're doing. The same with sculptures, the same with potters. Jewelry artists are the same. We house 5, and all 5 of them are different, whether they're stone setters or whether they're PMC or steampunk. They're all different types of jewelry. Where that way, if someone doesn't want one, hopefully we have something they do want. Because when they leave here, somebody's going to ask them where they got it. And that's what it's about. An artist walking through the door, when they start asking us a question, they need to be prepared for what the gallery is going to ask. Because they need to know, well, what kind of medium are you using? What are your paintings about? What are you wanting out of the gallery? Where are you headed as an artist? Have you honed in on one, or are you just all over the field? What is it that you are doing? because the galleries are going to ask. They're going to want to know, and they want to know how grounded you are as an artist. Is this just, are you just wandering in here today just because you're out? A portfolio. They want to see some kind of portfolio, and the biggest thing that puts me off as a gallery owner is a portfolio that when they bring it in, it's work that's done in a classroom. Don't bring them photographs that you were told to shoot on shadows, or drawings that you were told to do still lifes. Bring them in your work, what you want to represent you. Those are all works that we all have. We all have them. We all have them in our portfolios. That's not what the galleries are wanting to see. They're wanting to see you. They want to know about you and what you're capable of.